got the whole thing. They got the backpack, they got the diaper at your next table, and they got the coloring book and the crayons, which should be outlawed in restaurants. It's not ding-dong school. Not everything is a ding-dong school. There was a time, and I raised children. I wasn't allowed in certain restaurants with the children when they were young. I didn't like it. But I understood it. People didn't want to be disturbed by children. Now, if they get sued, if they say to people, you know what, we'd rather you not change doo-doo at the table, right away they call ACLU or a lawyer like an ACLU, or like a smarter one than an ACLU lawyer, the brother who went into private practice with the same mentality. Marvin goes into the ACLU because he's stupid, and Barry goes into the private practice and sues, but they're the same mentality. Two heads of the same hydra. That's it, the coloring books in the restaurant. How do you spell Louisiana, Louise? Very good. And then the mother claps at the desk. You hear this? This is where you're sitting and having a romantic meal. $29.95 for the pasta al ripofo. Antipasto, consisting of a piece of old rotten cheese from Brooklyn that they couldn't sell to the Italians in New York because they know better, so they ship it to San Francisco. That's $9.95 for one little piece of mozzarella cheese and a tomato. They give it an Italian name, $9.95 with a tomato and one little piece of cheese that the Italians rejected on the wharf. Even the wharf rats rejected it, but they can sell it in San Francisco. At $29.95 for pasta al Creato. I don't mind it, all right, but you're going in for the ambience. No one's there for the food. They're in for the ambience. But the coloring book is there right away. And the lessons you have to listen to. Do you ever hear these lessons at these tables? Does this go on in Louisiana or only in the major cities? That you have to listen to these impossible parents. I never talk cute to the children. Okay, I'm a product of my upbringing. Harsh, Spartan-like. Don't be cute. I don't like cute. No jokes. Just get back to work. No matter what I did, I try to entertain my... All right, get back to work. Stop the entertainment. He knew I was trying to, wiggle out of work by entertaining him. All right, that's very good. Now get back to it. No radio. On the way into work. I swear to God, if I was, driving in his car... I don't know how old I was. He didn't want the radio on. If I tried to put the radio on because it was horrible, sitting next to your father in a car on the way to work, it was going to be a horrible day in a disgusting market all day long, which I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go to begin with, but I didn't say anything. Okay, he needed me there. That was the way it was done. I didn't have any option anyway. It was like a little prison camp. But, all right, so you sit in the right seat like a dummy, your hands folded on your lap, and nothing, not a word, mum. The whole ride. BQE, the Kosciuszko Bridge, the stink of the pork dying there, that Trun's Meat Market, where the eye goes out. You think that you ran over a skunk, but there are no skunks in Williamsburg. That packing plant in August was enough. You talk about a weapon of mass destruction. The Trun's Meat Packing Plant in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, in the 50s was a WMD. That's why rents were low in those days. The floors were cockeyed with linoleum that when a dog would urinate in the bedroom, it would run into the living room because the floors were old. But that's the way it was. No one complained. Today you got the same losers who can't live in Manhattan. They live there now. They discovered the charm of Williamsburg. Oh, I really love it over here. It's really great. You know, it's right near the overpass, and I like the factory area. Nobody ever wanted to live there. Even when it was in its heyday, nobody wanted to live there. But the point I'm making is a little different. So if you sit in the car, you're next to your father driving to work, and you can't say anything. There's nothing to say. He's grim. He's white. His hands are white-knuckled on the wheel because he's going in again another horrible day to make a living. Nothing was fun. Nobody worked in those days for fun. This was an evolution of the Dr. Spock generation. Oh, find what's fun and pursue it. Pursue what's fun. To my father, nothing was fun. It was grim. Horrible. It was like Grimm's fairy tales. Came over, work, drop dead, and move on. That's in the ground. That's it. Next case. Next generation. There was no fun. From another world, they didn't know what the word fun was. So he's driving to work. The hands are like white knuckles. And I'm sitting there. So my hand reaches, the left hand reaches for the radio dial. Like to punch a button in. No radio. So what do you mean no radio? I don't want music. Why? Never mind why. This is not entertainment. It's work. So, all right. So work has to be torture. I get it. All right. That's why I'm in the radio business. I was made for this. What I'm getting at is he didn't like cute. If he saw people, and I'm the same way, unfortunately, I become him in essence. This is how it is. All the years I resisted becoming him, a long time ago I became my father. I admit it. There must be something to it. It worked for him. It's worked for me so far. But he didn't like cute. People who talk cute to the children. You know, the guy was 100% right. Let's say, I'm talking generally, 9 out of the 10 couples did not talk to their children because it was like embarrassing. Anyone who did that, the child either wound up in San Francisco wearing a pink set of tights at 19 expressing himself, or the girl wound up married to her sorority sister. 9 out of 10, they never wound up okay. None of them became anything. That's true because of the liberal upbringing. Liberalism not only is a mental disorder, but destroys children. You need to raise children the old-fashioned way. I don't say hurt them. I never got hit. He didn't hit me. Just verbal abuse. It worked better. The Kennedy legacy, Ted Kennedy tribute, had very poor ratings last night on ABC. People preferred ABC's Wipeout and a show called Bones over Ted Kennedy, The Last Brother. And apparently America's Next Top Model did better than Ted Kennedy, The Last Brother. And let's see, at 10 p.m., a Law and Order episode beat Remembering Ted Kennedy. So, I mean, if you want to put ratings, I realize that ratings are not written for, or not based upon the Ubermensches. The Ubermensches, of course, would be offended by the fact that there was even any show on other than a tribute to Ted Kennedy. You've got to remember that. The Ubermensches know more than you do. And the important thing is to look forward to the day when the men working for Obama, previous street felons and thugs who are now inside the White House with white shirts and ties, once they get control of the FCC, soon there will be nothing permitted except tributes to Democrats and tributes to Democrat programs. And at that point, of course, the ratings will be super high, and it'll prove that the people love them. So we only have a few months or years to wait for those days. But to be fair to the discussion, I will let you decide what Ted Kennedy's true legacy is. I mean, he wasn't all bad. Some would demonize him and say because he killed a young girl at Chappaquiddick, he's all bad. Or he cheated at Harvard by using a poor student to take an exam for him, and the poor student got thrown out, as did Kennedy, but Kennedy was allowed in while the poor student was never allowed back in. That sort of defines him. But you can't let that stick to a man for the rest of his life. He was welcome in Britain right until the very end. Even though he killed an actual girl, he was welcome in Britain. He didn't create any intercommunity violence when he said in 1965 that the Kennedy Immigration Reform Act of 1965 would not change the demographics of America. That didn't create any intercommunity tension in this country, and that's why Jackie Smith permits him into England to this day. It's a matter of politics as to what really creates intercommunity tension, not a matter of what actually does it. And while the British government might release an actual terrorist who killed 260 people, a true terrorist, it's important to make sure that somebody who expresses conservative opinion is declared the real terrorist, because that's the way Ubermensch work. And since the rest of us are not considered to be worthy of the discussion to begin with, we shouldn't even be considered Ubermensch. This is the Savage Nation. With God's will and your listenership, I shall return.
Savage. Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.